Picture this. It's the night before your IELTS exam. You're sitting at your desk, surrounded by the books and papers, desperately trying to cram every last bit of your knowledge into your brain. But no matter how hard you study, there's one thing that keeps slipping through your fingers like grains of sand. You know what I'm talking about. Academic vocabulary. It's like a mysterious treasure hidden in the depths of English language, and you're on a quest to uncover its secrets. But fear not, dear students, for I am here to guide you on this epic journey. Together we will decode the language academia, unlock the power of words, and conquer the IELTS exam once and for all. So grab your map, sharpen your pencils, and get ready to embark on the adventure of a lifetime. The treasure trove of academic vocabulary awaits, and the glory of a perfect band score is within your grasp. Are you ready to join me on this thrilling quest? Hey there, future IELTS champions. Welcome back to Crack IELTS with Simar, your ultimate guide to conquering the IELTS exam. I am Simar, and today we are diving into the exciting world of IELTS academic vocabulary. Before we do, I want you to hit the subscribe button and join our growing community of language enthusiasts. Trust me, you won't want to miss out on the tips and tricks I have in store for you today. Now, I know what you might be thinking. Academic vocabulary sounds like something only for the academic module of the exam, right? Well, you're wrong, guys here. Whether you're tackling the academic or general training module, academic vocabulary is your ticket to success. So buckle up and get ready to supercharge your language skills no matter which version of the IELTS test you're taking. Right, now that you know academic vocabulary is for everyone, let's learn what academic vocabulary actually means. Imagine you're in a big library filled with all kinds of books. Now think of academic vocabulary as the special words you will find in those books, but they are not just any words. They are like the superheroes of the language world. Academic vocabulary helps you talk about really smart stuff like science, history, and all the other cool things that you learn in a school or the university. It's like having a secret code that lets you unlock the mysteries of the world and express your ideas in a super fancy way. So in a nutshell, academic vocabulary is like your trusty sidekick on your quest for knowledge. Now, I know you might be thinking, why do I need academic vocabulary? The simple answer to this is that you want to prove it to the IELTS examiner how amazing your language skills are. Now, to do this, you need special set of skills, and that's where academic vocabulary comes into play. You see, the IELTS test isn't just about everyday conversations. It's about showing off your ability to understand and talk about the complex topics, just like a real scholar. That's where academic vocabulary swoops in to save the day. It helps you express your ideas clearly and confidently, whether you are writing essays, reports, letters, or having discussions in the speaking test. So think of academic vocabulary as your secret weapon. It's what sets you apart from the crowd and helps you shine like a star on the test day. Now that we know what academic vocabulary means and why we need it, so let's delve into the world of key academic vocabulary for writing and speaking test, tailored to the context of IELTS exam. I personally have handpicked 15 powerhouse words related to 5 contexts that can take your score from okay to outstanding. But wait, here's the twist. Before we dive in, I challenge you to guess how many of these words you already know and how many you can confidently use in your speaking test. So here are the 15 words that I have handpicked for you guys. I want you to pause the video for 1 minute and check how many of these words you know the meaning of and how many of these words you truly feel comfortable using in the IELTS exam. Trust me, by the end of today's video, you will be wielding these words like a pro and smashing that exam out of the park. The 5 contexts that we will be discussing include supporting arguments and conclusions, giving opinions and recommendations, comparing and contrasting, expressing cause and effect, and describing trends and data. In each of these contexts, I will teach you 3 most important words, tell you what does this actually mean, and how will you use this in IELTS speaking and writing test. Let's start with the first one, which is supporting arguments and conclusions. And the 3 important academic words are evidence, support, and justify. Let's make them friends one by one. So the first one is evidence. Evidence is like the clues you find in a detective story that help you solve the mystery. It's the information or facts that show something is true. For example, if you see footprints in the snow, that's the evidence someone walked there. So how will you use this in writing or speaking test? Let me show you. Imagine IELTS writing task 2. When discussing an argument or opinion, you could say there is ample evidence to suggest that regular exercise contributes to overall health and well-being. Similarly, in speaking part 3, when asked about a topic like technology, you could mention many studies provide evidence that excessive screen time can have negative effects on eyesight. All right, so the next word is justify. Justify means to explain why something is fair or right. It's like giving reasons to show why you did something or why you think something is a good idea. For instance, if you want to stay up to finish your homework, you might justify it by saying you'll do better on your test the next day. So now, how will you use this in IELTS speaking or writing? Again, IELTS writing task 2, if you're presenting your opinion, you might write, I believe that government funding should be allocated to environment conservation projects to protect our planet. This is justified by urgent need to address climate change and preserve biodiversity. Similarly, IELTS speaking part 2, when describing a decision you made, you could say, I decided to pursue a career in healthcare because I wanted to make a positive difference in people's lives. I think this choice is justified by the opportunity to help others and contribute to society. Simple as that. The next word I'm going to talk about is support. Support means to help or to hold something up. It's like building a strong tower with blocks where each block represents a reason or example that supports your main idea. For example, if you say dogs make great pets because they are loyal and friendly, those reasons support your opinion that dogs are good pets. So now, how will you use this in IELTS writing or speaking? Again, writing task 2, when providing examples to support your argument, you might write, for example, in many countries, implementing renewable energy initiatives has led to a significant reduction in carbon emissions and reliance on fossil fuels. In IELTS speaking part 1, when discussing your preference or opinion, you could say, I prefer living in a small town rather than a big city because of the close-knit community support and slow pace of life. So I hope it's making a little bit sense to you guys that how these simple words can have a big impact on your IELTS speaking and writing tests. That's why sometimes I call these words as big words of IELTS. All right, let's look at the next context, which is expressing cause and effect. And the 3 important academic words are similarly, conversely, and nevertheless. Let's talk about them one by one. So the first word we've got here is similarly. So this word means when things are alike or having something in common. For example, if you and your friend both like playing soccer, you could say you both have similar interest in soccer. Let's see how you can use this word in IELTS writing or speaking. In part 3 of the IELTS speaking test, when discussing leisure activities, you could say, similarly, many people enjoy listening to music while they study or work. Writing task 2 example, in an essay where you're discussing benefits of technology, you might say, similarly, research has shown that regular exercise can improve both physical and mental health. The next word is conversely. This word is used when two things are different or opposite from each other. For example, if you like sunny weather but your friend prefers rainy days, you could say your preferences are conversely different. So how will you use this in speaking test? In part 1, when asked about living preferences, you could say some people prefer to live in the countryside while others enjoy the hustle and bustle of the city. Conversely, city dwellers may find rural lifestyle too quiet. Now, the writing example in an essay where you're comparing urban and rural living, you might write, conversely, while technology has made communication faster and easier, it has also led to concerns about privacy and security. The third word is nevertheless. Now, this word means even though something else happened or was said, there is still an important point to consider. For example, if you were disappointed that your team lost a game but still felt proud of their efforts, you could say, we lost the game, nevertheless, we played our best. Simple as that. Let's use it in speaking test. In speaking part 2, when describing a challenging experience, you could say, I was tired after a long day of work. Nevertheless, I decided to go for a run in the park. Similarly, in writing task 2, in an essay discussing the importance of outdoor activities, you might write something like, the weather forecast predicted rain for the picnic day. Nevertheless, we went ahead with our plans and had a great time. All right, the next context is expressing cause and effect. And the 3 important words that I will be discussing are trigger, resultant, and consequence. Let's talk about these words one by one. So the first one, trigger. A trigger is like a switch that sets off something else to happen. It's like the start button on a race car that makes it go through. Speaking part 1 example, when discussing hobbies, you could say, playing with my toy cars always triggers my imagination. In writing, you could say, in an essay about the effects of technology on children, you might write, excessive screen time can trigger behavioral issues in young children. The next word I've got for you is resultant. Resultant means something that happens as a result or consequence of another action. It's like what comes after you do something else. Now, the examples in IELTS context. In speaking part 3, when talking about travel experiences, you could say something like, I visited the aquarium and the resultant was learning a lot about the marine life. Similarly, for writing, in an essay discussing the benefits of education, you might write something like, investing in education can lead to better job opportunities and resultant a higher standard of living. Third word in this category is consequence. Consequence is what happens because of something else you did. It's like the effect of your actions, good or bad. If you forget your IELTS homework, the consequence might be getting a lower band score on the exam, and you don't want that. Now let's look at examples in speaking and writing context. So speaking part 2, when describing memorable event, you could say, forgetting my lines during the school play had a consequence. I felt embarrassed in front of the audience. Similarly, writing an essay exploring the impact of climate change, you might write, the consequence of deforestation is the loss of biodiversity and adverse effects on the environment. I know it's not easy to memorize all these words, but I'm just going to pause here and ask you to revisit the words that you have just learned and think about in what context you can use these words in your IELTS exam. I would also encourage you guys to write down these words somewhere so that you can revise and also make some few examples. Practice makes perfect, so you would need to practice these words more than one time in order to remember these words by heart. So the next context is driving trends and data. And the 3 important words that I will be discussing are trend, fluctuation, and correlation. The first word is trend. A trend is like a pattern or direction in which something is changing or developing over time. It's like noticing if the temperature is going up or down over the several days. So how will you use the word trend in IELTS? For example, in speaking part 1, when describing hobbies, you could say, recently there's been a trend of people taking gardening as a hobby. Similarly, in writing task 1, when talking about line graph, we can say something like, there's a clear trend of increasing temperatures over the summer months. Easy. Next word in this category is fluctuation. Fluctuation in simple words mean changes that go up and down or back and forth. It's like roller coaster ride with ups and downs. So how will you use the word fluctuation? For example, when talking about shopping habits in speaking part 3, you can say, the fluctuation in prices often affects my decision to buy certain items. Similarly, writing a letter in general training in the context of writing a letter to a friend about recent changes in weather patterns in your area, the mention of fluctuation could refer to the variability or inconsistency in weather conditions, such as sudden shifts in temperature, precipitation, or wind patterns. An example could be, recently we've been experiencing quite a bit of fluctuation in the weather here. One day it's sunny and warm, the next day we are hit with heavy rain and thunderstorms. It's been quite unpredictable. So you see how we can use these words in variety of contexts. The next word is correlation. So correlation is when two things seem to be connected or related to each other. It's like correlation between studying hard and getting good band score on IELTS exam. So how are we going to use it in speaking test? So in part 2, when describing a memorable experience, you could say, I noticed a correlation between studying hard and getting good grades. In writing tasks, you could say, there's a strong correlation between regular exercise and improved physical health. The last context is giving options and recommendations. And the 3 important words that we will be discussing are implications, recommendation, and advocate. Let's look at the first word, implications. Implications are like the effects or results that happen because of something else. It's like when you drop a glass and it breaks, that's the implication of dropping it. So in IELTS context, implications. In IELTS speaking part 3, when discussing the effects of technology, you could say something like, the implications of excessive screen time on children's health are concerning. In writing tasks 2, in an essay about the impact of social media, you might write, the implications of cyberbullying can have serious consequences on person's mental well-being. The second word in this category is recommendation, which is like a suggestion or advice given to help someone make a decision or take action. It's like when your friend recommends a book for you to read because they think you will like it. So in the context of IELTS, when talking about favorite places to visit in IELTS speaking part 1, you could say, I always give my friends the recommendation to visit the local museum. It's so interesting. Similarly, in writing, in an essay discussing ways to combat climate change, you might write, a recommendation to reduce carbon emissions is to use public transportation instead of driving. The last word in this category is advocate. So to advocate means to support or speak up for something or someone you believe in. It's like being a cheerleader for a cause or idea. So how will you use in speaking? For example, when describing a role model in speaking part 2, you could say, my grandmother is my role model because she's always been an advocate for kindness and helping others. Similarly, writing task 2, in an essay about the importance of education, you might write, many teachers advocate for smaller class sizes to provide better individualized attention to students. And there you have it, folks. We've explored the key academic vocabulary words in various IELTS contexts. By incorporating these words into your writing and speaking tasks, you will be well equipped to tackle any challenge the IELTS exams throws your way. Alright, now that you've learned these words, it's time to put your newfound knowledge to the test. I'm going to present you with a series of scenarios and you will need to choose the correct academic vocabulary word that best fits each situation. So sentence number 1. After studying hard for months, Pratak achieved a high score on his IELTS exam. Which academic vocabulary word describes the reason for his success? And your options are evidence, justify, support. I want you to pause the video for 10 seconds and think about the correct answer. So the correct answer is evidence. Pratak's high score serves as evidence for his hard work and dedication to studying. Now the next scenario. Despite the rainy weather, the outdoor concert went ahead as planned. Which academic vocabulary word best explains why concert continued despite the rain? And your options are trigger, resultant, and consequence. Pause the video for 10 seconds and think about the correct answer. So the correct answer is resultant. The concert's continuation despite the rain demonstrates the resultant effect of careful planning and preparation. The final and the last scenario, read carefully. The increasing popularity of online shopping has led to a decline in traditional retail stores. Which academic vocabulary word illustrates the relationship between online shopping and the decline of retail stores? Your options are trend, fluctuation, and correlation. Again, pause the video for 10 seconds and think about the correct answer. Alright, so the correct answer is trend. The declining number of retail stores reflect a trend towards increased preference for online shopping. Alright, there you have it, folks. You have successfully navigated through the world of academic vocabulary, and I am impressed by your keen understanding. Remember, incorporating these words into your writing and speaking tasks can significantly enhance your performance on the IELTS exam. If you enjoyed today's video and found it helpful, don't forget to give a thumbs up and subscribe to our channel for more valuable tips and strategies. Also, be sure to download the cheat sheet attached to this video for quick reference and practice. Keep up the great work on your IELTS journey, and remember, with dedication and practice, you can achieve your dream band score. Until next time, happy studying, guys. I'll see you soon in next video.